Hello, kings and queens. Thank you for stopping by to join me on Overcoming the Aftermath. Today, I just wanted to come in and talk to you all about some of the things that I experienced or some of the things that I'm still healing from after I got out of the toxic relationship. So, I'm gonna try to be as real and upfront and honest about everything, even down to the point of sharing some of the most embarrassing moments of even being inside of that toxic relationship. Okay, so first of all, I think that a lot of people get misconstrued on a a toxic relationship, because a toxic relationship doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a significant other like your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife. It could actually be from someone like your mother or your father. It could be your boss. It could be your best friend. Sometimes it could be your brother or your sister. And if you have experienced any of the things that I'm going to discuss today, please feel free to leave a comment below and I'll try to respond back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so the first thing that I experienced while going through the toxic relationship was that I find it, still till now, I find it very difficult to make small decisions. Like, I always constantly go back and forth with myself. For example, let's say like if me and my significant other want to take a day for ourselves and I had to choose where I wanted to go, I would constantly like go back and forth with myself. Like, would I pick the right place to make him happy? Like, it was always, I was like always afraid of making the wrong decisions because I didn't want him to get upset. I just constantly wanted to please him and make him happy. And the thing with being in a toxic relationship is like, it don't matter what you do, no matter how much you try, no matter, you can keep giving all of yourself to this person. It's like never enough. So even to this day now, I second guess myself with a lot of the decisions that I make. But I'm getting to a better place because I'm healing. I'm still healing, because I was with this person since the age of 16 and I am now 34. So, and we have two kids together. And so it took a lot of years. So it's going to still take some time for the healing process. And I'm okay with that. Another thing that I had experienced was I felt a lot of helplessness. I felt a lot of hopelessness. Like when I said before, like nothing I did ever felt good enough. I always felt empty. I constantly kept finding myself trying to find ways to make him happy, or like constantly trying to do things like maybe surprise him with a gift, or go out the way of like taking care of his other kids for him. Uh, it was just ridiculousness. Like, there was so much going on. And actually, honestly, it was like I would find ways to keep him happy, and so it had got to the point where I was allowing him to cheat on me. Like, I would know about the other women and I would still stay and allow it to go on. As crazy as that sounds, but it was like some of the most darkest moments that eventually I would be able to open up and share with you guys about that I actually went through. Um, and at that point, whenever it would get out into the open about him being with these other women and getting these other women pregnant, and me taking care of the kids that he had with the other women, and I went into like a social withdrawal. So like I would not hang with people. I want to talk to my family. I felt embarrassed. I felt ashamed. I felt silly that I was still in a relationship knowing that it wasn't right for me. Even when people would tell me, Cena, you need to leave him, leave him. It's like the more that people would tell me that, it was like the more that I would stay. It was like I wasn't tired enough. It took for me to actually get tired and fed up for me to finally like this isn't right. This is not right. But it took a long time for me to get to that point, and still to right now, I'm still battling those demons. Still to this day, um, I suffer from anxiety. I suffer from depression. I suffer from PTSD. I went to counseling. I've been going to counseling for about 2 years. I've been put on depression medicine. I've been put on anxiety medicine for PTSD. And you know what was crazy about all of it? Every time he would do things to me, or I allowed him to do things to me, he would always make me feel like I was the crazy one. Like, he would always say, something wrong with you, why would you think like that? And he always made me seem like I was the one that was causing all of these things to happen. But now that if I look back on it, I wasn't the crazy one, you know. So he really had me thinking like everything that was going on was my fault. And for me to cope with those things, I found other ways to deal with that. So I became an emotional eater. I gained a lot of weight, a lot of weight. And it was like every time that I would try to speak up for myself, he would tell me that I was crazy, that I need to go to counseling, that I'm always thinking the worst part of him, that I didn't know him, and mind manipulation, basically. He was a master manipulator. So then at that point, it went from just the feeling hopeless to the helplessness to I was chronically second guessing myself. I never felt like I would make a good sound decision about anything that I would do. So it had gotten to the point where I was allowing him to even make decisions for me. And he would go contemplate back and forth. Like if I say, well, yeah, I'm going to go to school, he'd be like, well, I don't think that you should go to school. I'd be like, okay. And then like later on, I'd be like, well, I don't think that I'll go to school. Then he'll be like, well, I think you should go to school. Like anything that I decided to do was always an issue. He would always find another way to manipulate me and trick me. It was basically his way of controlling me. And at that point, I had very low energy, and my self-esteem had dropped severely. I was constantly questioning myself. I was constantly thinking if I looked in a certain way, or if I was somebody different, that he would love me. I would, honestly, it was days I can remember just laying in my bed, like no energy for my kids, like just being sad and depressed and crying, not understanding how somebody can say that they love you. And okay, so like I was saying, so yeah, the low energy, not wanting to work, not even wanting to do like adult basic living, such as showering or getting up and combing my hair or making sure that my kids are okay. And as sad as that is, I had just let it overtaken me. Like, there's so much more, but we'll save that for another video. But it took years for me to just realize that everything was just smoke and mirrors. None of it was real. All of it was fake. I was just there as a convenience for him. I was just there whenever basically he needed me. Whenever he was done with me, he would throw me away and pick up somebody else. And this constantly went on like that. He had a daughter. I loved her like she was my own. Actually, I caught him in the house with this woman that he had this baby with, and I actually took this baby in like she was mine. And I guess he kept me around for those purposes. I mean, I guess there was alternative. He always had an alternative motive behind everything that he did. Nothing he does is ever genuine. Even to this day now, if I need assistance with the kids, there's no assistance with the kids unless he's getting something out of it. So, yeah, I just wanted to come on here, and if you're experiencing any of these things, or if you're in a relationship with anybody and you're feeling any of those things, run. Try to get out of it. If you need counseling, go to counseling. If you have family and friends, don't seclude from everybody. That's the worst thing that you can do, because that's what they want you to do. They want to keep you to themselves. They don't want you to be around other people. They don't want other people to know what's going on, because they don't want to be exposed. They don't want people to know who they really are, because they can easily blame you. It'll always be that you're the crazy one. It will always be that you're the one who's causing all these things to happen, but it's not. It's not. So, once again, comment below and I'll comment back. And if there's anybody out there, if you want to talk or want to share, you can go to my Facebook page. I have a page on there called Overcoming the Aftermath After a Toxic Relationship, and I go live and we have open discussion. There's a lot of women out there who's going through some of these same things. So don't feel like you're alone. Don't feel like you have to be embarrassed, because we've all been through it. So stay blessed out there, and y'all stay safe.